Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the FVL Schools Band Concert.
Our final spring concert, our final concert period, regardless of the season of the year, for the 2018-2019 school year. We're glad that you're here. Students have worked very, very hard on their pieces. I can't wait to hear the concert wins. I know what we're getting with the cadet band. They have really upped their game, because I kind of forced them to. But they're going to sound like the concert wins next year, so I'm hopefully getting them prepared for that. Your first piece is a 3-movement work. Normally, 3 movements are done by the same composer, but hopefully you've seen in your program that we've got music by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, his famous piano piece, Rondo alla Turca, and then Edvard Grieg's very famous second movement, and I'm drawing a blank on Peer Gynt Suite, number 2, I believe. Anyway, the beautiful morning mood, and then finally, Antonio Vivaldi. We become very Baroque as we play the spring movement of the seasons. So here are 3 great classical melodies by 3 different composers. First classic suite. Thank you so much. There is one student up here that
looks like a very...
he's one of our high school clarinet players, and I'm very thankful for Anthony Higuereta for joining us. So thank you, Anthony, for doing that. He's a great volunteer on Saturday mornings. Wow, you get up on Saturday morning to be with us. Nice, nice. And I've also called on three concert wind players to kind of fill out our ranks on Shepherd's Hay. So I guess I'll ask them to come up now, or are they already up? Here they come. So Ryan Feuerstaller on euphonium, Caleb Race on trombone, and Olivia Race on trumpet are just going to fill out a little bit more of our sound. This is one of the big tasks that I gave the cadet band. And Anthony reminded me that every year when he was in cadet band, there's one piece that everyone thinks, I can never play that. And then here we are, we're going to play it. But sometimes it's helpful to fill out a couple of extra notes that we don't have. I'm very proud of the students on this piece. Shepherd's Hay sounds really simple. It's got one simple melody, and it lasts 4 measures long. But you're going to hear it for 54 measures. But the thing about playing this melody over and over and over is the melody gets changed. A different instrument plays it, or we just sort of vary the rhythm a little bit. We vary the melody a little bit. And one of the great arrangers of Shepherd's Hay is an Australian composer named Percy Grainger. And that's a very wild Shepherd's Hay. These kids think they're working really hard. Wait till they play the Percy Grainger Shepherd's Hay someday, and I hope that they do. So anyway, thanks to our 3 concert winds players and also the students for working very hard on this very nice, lovely, but difficult British folk song, Shepherd's Hay. Isn't that a nice little piece? So simple, and yet it's harder than it sounds. So Cadet Band, you did a great job. I'm very proud of what you just did on Shepherd's Hay. We're going to finish up taxing our ability to play more quickly. It sounds like we were playing quickly on that because of how many eighth notes there were. This next piece is just simply the Jacques Offenbach famous dance that so many people know, the can-can from Orpheus and Hades. I don't know much about the opera. I don't think we need to. Just a cute little story about getting ready to play this piece. I had selected that we're going to try to do it, although it kind of stretches some of the students' higher notes. And as we were playing some of those classical tunes earlier in the year, and I said, these are famous classical melodies. During one of the lessons, before I'd handed out can-can, a student said to me, I know another famous orchestra song. And he started going, da, 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 da. And sure enough, that was exactly what I had planned to hand out. So kudos to the parents of that student or the teachers in the classroom of that student. Or maybe, does everyone just simply know the can-can? So you get to enjoy it. So thanks for everything you've done for helping these students become really good musicians. They've grown a lot, especially in the last 2 weeks. I hope you're as proud of them as I am. The can-can.
Thanks for being patient, everybody. We really appreciate that. Thanks also for coming to the concert today. I had the opportunity to give a lot of thank yous yesterday at our awards, with just a few very quick ones. First of all, to all of you parents for getting your students, your children to our rehearsals on Saturday and to our concerts throughout the school year with their lessons. We thank you for that. We have a lot of high school students that routinely are here on Saturday morning. There's a crew of about, I would say, 5 or 6 that are here just about every week, and so we really are thankful for their willingness to come in on their day off to help us out. Also, thanks to our directors, Mr. Cromer, and also to Mrs. Nogar, for their continued giving back to our program by leading these kids in these 2 bands. Mrs. Nogar, I just want to point out, will not be on the podium today, but she is helping to coordinate percussion, and throughout the year, just invaluable, because there's a lot of activity that goes on in that percussion section. Some of it planned, some of it maybe unplanned, but I do thank her for that. And most importantly, for the students that you saw on stage just a little bit ago, and the ones that are seated behind me right now, for their willingness to just be the best that they can, use their God-given gifts to the best of their ability. And I thank these kids a lot for being here on Saturday mornings. These kids are involved in so many different things. It's not just band. So for them to make that effort to be with these other students from our FVL schools is just really remarkable. I also want to point out that that concert, or the cadet band that you just heard, really fantastic, terrific performance. Even at the end of their first year, when students can play classical music as what they just did, that's so recognizable to all of us, even at that level, it's really remarkable. When Mr. Cromer gave me, he teaches lessons and I teach another group of students lessons. When he handed out Shepherd's Hay to me and said, "This is for the cadet band," I didn't say it, but I thought, there's no way these guys are going to be able to play that piece, because that is hard for beginning band students. So it was really fantastic, you guys. Congratulations on a great performance. So we're going to get on then with our concert wins. Our first number is written by, is it Harold Bennett? But it's Henry Fillmore. And he wrote so many marches that are recognizable and kind of the standard marches of American concert bands and bands all over the world. So this first march is by him, but it is called Pivot Man, but it's under his pseudonym. Enjoy Pivot Man March. Before we play our last number, I just have, I want to have our 8th grade students to please stand, and let's thank them for their years that they've given to our FVL Schools Band program. 8th graders, stand up. This next number, Distant Thunder of the Sacred Forest, has some program notes, but just kind of explain a little bit at the beginning. What we have is different rhythm instruments that are going to be starting out at the beginning of the song. Not necessarily keeping in time with each other, because what it signifies is villages, distant villages, and each village has their rhythm or their communication that they're doing with drums. And so you're going to hear different groups of percussion instruments at the beginning. And then you're going to hear the winds start up very gently behind that. And then afterwards, then that all kind of settles down, and then we get into just a really fun piece of music. This is Distant Thunder of the Sacred Forest. Once again, everybody, thank you for coming today, and thanks so much for your support of our music programs through FVL schools. Thank you.